All right, this is the City of Reno Planning Commission meeting dated Wednesday, December 17th, 2025, 6 p.m. First item, Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Foster, please lead us off. A2 roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Jockman,
Here.
Commissioner Williams,
Here.
Commissioner Becerra is absent, Commissioner Del Villar,
Present.
Commissioner Gonfiantini,
Here.
Commissioner Romeyer is absent, Commissioner Velto.
Here.
We have a quorum of the Reno City Planning Commission.
Item A3, public comment, Madam Clerk.
It should be noted for those in the audience that comments are to be addressed to the Planning Commission as a whole. Comments heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Planning Commission agenda. Please note that the Planning Commission may not take action upon any matter not agendized for possible action on today's agenda. When you are called on for public comment, please state your name for the record and begin speaking. The timer will begin when you say your name, and you will be afforded 3 minutes. If you are an attendee in the Zoom meeting and would like to make public comment at this time, please raise your hand. Lastly, while in this room, please be respectful. Warnings will be issued by the presiding officer if there is disruptive behavior, and you will be asked to leave chambers if the behavior continues. We did receive correspondence for this item that was logged into the public record and forwarded to the commission. With that, I don't have any requests to speak cards in chambers, and we do not have any attendees on Zoom.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and you will have additional opportunities to speak under each agenda item tonight. We'll move on to item A4, approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Can I get a motion to approve?
Commissioner Williams, motion to approve.
And a second?
Commissioner Del Villar, second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item A5, so motion carries unanimously. Item A5, approval of minutes from our November 20th, 2025 meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Commissioner Williams, motion to approve.
Commissioner Del Villar, second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. We will now move on to item B, staff announcements.
We have not had any council action on any planning items since our last meeting, so no announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Raley. We will move forward into public hearings. Item C1, staff report for possible action. This is case number LDC 26-00026, Stan Lucas Mortensen Ranch Time Extension. We will first hear a presentation from staff. Mr. Foster, please take it away.
Thank you, Chair Jockman. Jeff Foster, Associate Planner for the record. This evening, the first case I am bringing you is the LDC 26-26, the time extension for the Stan Lucas Mortensen Ranch tentative map. So there's an approved tentative map that was approved finally in January of 2022. There's kind of a long and sordid history that is described in the staff report involving various planning commission and city council denials that was followed by a legal process. Eventually on January 27th of 2022, a tentative map, or sorry, a decision letter was issued for a 632 single family lot subdivision. NRS has a 4-year period in which the first final map can be recorded, and that period expires on January 27th of 2026. The details of the process up to this point are included in the staff report. I did want to note that the property owner, Stan Lucas, who was the sole member of Lucas Verdi LLC, passed away on January 10th of this year. Development activity was actively in the process prior to his passing, and that's also detailed in the staff report. Issues associated with the passing of Mr. Lucas have adversely impacted the project schedule and recordation of the initial final map. Staff believes that additional time is warranted for the new property owner to decide on the next steps for the property. Since the initial final map will not be recorded within the 4-year time frame allowed by state law, the applicant is requesting a tentative map extension for the project in accordance with the provisions of NRS 278.360 subsection 1C as shown on the screen. The recommended motion is on the screen. In essence, if you approve it, you are moving to approve a 2-year time extension on the Stan Lucas Mortensen Ranch tentative map, subject to the original conditions of approval that are detailed in the January 27th, 2022 decision letter that is a part of your packet. That's all I have for you. The applicant's representative is here, will not be making a presentation, but is available for questions.
Thank you very much. Hearing that there will not be an applicant presentation, we will now move forward with disclosures and then to public comments. So we'll start with Commissioner Del Villar, go down the line, and then go online.
Received and read all of the materials and familiar with the site.
Commissioner Gonfantini read and received all materials.
Commissioner Jockman, phone call with Pam McNeil with concerns about the original project.
Commissioner Williams read and reviewed all material, also had a phone call with Pam and Ken McNeil, and familiar with the site.
Commissioner Velto,
Commissioner Voto, I was on the Planning Commission when this first came through the Planning Commission, I believe. I spoke with an individual who is representing a party associated with the development, and I received and reviewed correspondence.
that concludes disclosures from the commission. We will now move to public comment. Madam Clerk.
I do not have any public comment cards in person. We do have 2 attendees on Zoom, but they do not have their hand raised.
Do we have any requests to speak in chambers on this item? Hearing none, we will now move to questions from the commission of staff and/or applicant representative, if there is one. Okay, yep, so we'll move to questions.
Chair, I have a few questions.
Please proceed.
My questions are for Jeff.
Yes, sir.
First, I can't see, are you wearing a Chicago Bears Christmas sweater?
No, this is the San Francisco Giants, Commissioner Velto.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. There we go. Now I can see it. Oh, it looks great. Thank you for coming up. I have a couple questions for you, and I apologize I'm not in person. I'm not feeling so great tonight. My first question is, in the past, when we evaluated these extension requests, what test has the Planning Commission applied when assessing whether to grant extension?
So this is my first tentative map time extension that I have brought forward. I did speak on behalf of Daniel Martoma on a previous one. He was not available the night of the Planning Commission, so I did deliver his presentation that evening. But my understanding, the general test, if you, to use your terminology, is whether or not there has been a good faith effort in meeting the intent of NRS in terms of the time frame and the process. Another way to say that is if an applicant had simply, kind of sat on things for 3-point-something years and came to the city at the 11th hour asking for an extension, a 2-year time extension, I could see that the Planning Commission might be hesitant in affording that 2-year time extension because nothing was done, kind of until the last minute. However, in this case, as noted in the staff report and as detailed in my presentation, the applicant had made progress, had submitted an initial final map in October of 2024, had submitted other permit applications, and then Mr. Lucas passed away in January of this year, and that kind of threw everything into turmoil, and they've been trying to figure out things since then. So it's that test of whether or not they have been making a good faith effort, and in this case, staff believes that they have.
Great. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Williams.
Yeah, I got one for you. Thanks, Jeff. Speaking of that, I'll just kind of follow up with that. The original plan for this was going to be built in I think I saw roughly 16 different phases. According to the packet, it says that the final map was filled with 31 homes, as they're describing it as a placeholder.
The initial final map, yes.
The
Yes, I
additional
believe it was
final map that
31 homes.
we're kind of using as the party is, moving forward with stuff. Is that 31 homes? Was that just a random 31 homes? Was that a specific development like it was supposed to be originally planned, a part of the 16, separate areas that were going to be built?
Let me take a stab at that, but then I
Okay.
can also, if Donald Smith is available, that he might be able to afford some more, shed some more light on that. Tentative maps are often, several hundred homes and are often phased over multiple neighborhoods or phases. I am not 100% certain of whether or not the 31 homes is, was specifically shown as phase one on the initial application. But it was the first phase or the initial final map that was submitted in October of last year. So it was ostensibly one part of, 1/16 of, I guess to use the number that you used, the the overall phasing for the 632 homes.
Okay. And I mean, you kind of see where I'm going with that. The idea of just putting 31 homes as a placeholder to make this appear that it's moving forward, I just want to see if there's a narrative to say that this really wasn't just stabbing 31 homes on a final map so that we could show forward progress. This is actually part of the project and is being done in, I guess, in good faith.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah,
Mike, it
and
looks like.
Commissioner Williams, if I can chime in, it's not that unusual to have a smaller number of lots on an initial phase, because a lot of the initial phase will include backbone infrastructure improvements that get done with that phase. And also, this was submitted, well before Mr. Lucas passed away. So I think that was an unexpected turn.
Great. Okay, thank you. That's all I got at the moment. Did the applicant want to, he's indicating he might want to, I appreciate you.
I would agree with Mr. Raley that it's customary, because we do a lot of these, to have an initial phase. But the initial phase of this is also impacted by a thing called the Kinder Morgan line. And that Kinder Morgan line, until that issue is resolved, it's a major pipeline distributing petroleum as far as Fallon to the east, to the naval base, that runs through the property. The 31 lots goes up to that point so that the Kinder Morgan line and the issues associated with it could be dealt with at a future time, and allowing it to move up the hill from there. So that was another reason for the 31 lots. And I would also say that upon Mr. Lucas's passing, they were within days of being able to submit. And he was not only the sole member, he was the sole financer, and then three very good people were appointed trustees. They found out they were trustees upon his death, and none of them have a background in development. And they're dealing with 3,600 acres and 52 projects of Mr. Lucas's in Northern Nevada. They are overwhelmed. So, thank you. If you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. I'm good for now.
Commissioner Del Villar.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, and it's probably for you, sorry. Come on back up. I should have told you, don't sit down. So I'm just, because I wasn't here for, obviously a lot of this, and obviously there's some mitigating circumstances here. My question, though, is I haven't seen the tentative map for 31 homes. That might be helpful for me to sort of see what that looks like, because to other people's points, it's hard for me to understand how far along this is, and really sort of understand like why more time is needed, like how, and if they were ready to submit the tentative map, but now they have to go back and get financing, I guess, or figure out what.
The tentative map is a function of, you have a tentative map for the whole thing. What we would have been submitting is a final map for the first phase of 31 lots. As in the word placeholder has been, that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the development. It removes the requirements of a tentative map, and then you go to a series of final maps. Financing, it really wasn't an issue. We don't have any financing on any of our projects. So when the person that provides all the financing is no longer around, and then you have three individuals that are trying to sort out how that financing will move forward. And to give you an idea, to apply for the final map, there was between 25 and $30 million required. So it's put the trustees in a precarious position on where do we take that from? They have the responsibility to give money to beneficiaries. It's a very long, drawn-out, complicated process on their side, and they're working diligently to come to resolve. They need 2 years in order to probably sell the property, work out maybe some of the conditions with Kinder Morgan. It's a complex project. And I only became involved 3 months before Mr. Lucas. I have all the other stuff, and then now I have this with Mr. Grady, who's now the new manager for Lucas Verdi, and he is one of the trustees.
Okay, awesome. And can I ask you a question, Jeff, please? Thank you. So,
Sorry, this is Jasmine Mehta,
Sorry.
just to have the last speaker state his name for the record.
State your name for the record.
I'm sorry, for the record, my name is Donald Smith.
thank you. So, I guess the question that I have is, all we're doing right now is approving a 2-year extension on the tentative map. And that gives them time to sell it, the property, but the tentative map would stay. I know the SUP will stay with the property, but the tentative map that's there now with the original conditions could go away.
No, the tentative map is also an entitlement that entitles the land to a 632 single-family lot subdivision.
Got it.
That runs with the land, just like the SUP.
Okay.
The SUPs that were part of the overall entitlement process at that time. The 2-year period would extend the shot clock from January 27th of 2026 to January 27th of 2028 for a final map, an initial final map to be submitted and approved.
By whoever.
By whoever, whether it's the current owners or
Gotcha.
someone that they sell it to. But after January 27th of 2028, if that doesn't happen, this project goes away.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
If I can provide just
Yeah.
a little further
Sure.
clarification, tonight is simply a time extension.
Sure,
We're not looking
understood.
at the map itself. That decision's been made,
Yep.
and in this case, through a legal action. We're not altering anything that's already been approved. It's just extending that timeline.
Understood. I'm just trying to understand why we should approve the extension if it was this far along, but it sounds like there's just a lot of other things potentially happening, so.
Commissioner Jockman, I have a question. I'll direct this at the city attorney's office if that's all right. So we don't see a lot of these that are specific to time extension requests. And we're typically looking at making findings, identifying this and that. I'm going to say this and ask if this is correct. Is it correct that I should be making this evaluation on the basis of whether or not there were extenuating circumstances that led to this request, and if progress has been made regarding the initial entitlement? Is there anything else I should be looking at?
No, I think you're spot on. I think the issue is whether or not there's good cause for the extension. In this case, with the passing of Mr. Lucas, the fact that they have been working diligently to get the application through the process, I think votes in favor of an extension.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Williams.
Commissioner Williams, for the record. This project was highly contentious. It ended up in legal proceedings. And so while I understand what Chair Jockman's trying to get across to probably us and everybody else here is what we're trying to look towards, but I feel like this is a very rare opportunity for a very contentious project. Now that we know that the most likely it's going to be sold, to make sure that we are, dotting our I's here. So I guess in what Commissioner Del Villar was saying, this is going to follow the property. Outside, like what other conditions, if somebody else acquires this property, through just a basic city application, like what variances could we see or could the city approve without it coming back to this planning commission? What we are ordered to accept, or the city was ordered to accept, is this plan. Are there any allowable variances if it's sold to a new person that the planning commission wouldn't see?
So let me try and answer, and Mike, you may think of something else to say as well, but Commissioner Williams, so I think there's 32 conditions or something like that, all just simply fast forward through the 2-year time extension to the current owners or a subsequent owner. So all of those same conditions apply just as they do to right now. You're using the term variance, and that's a very specific term in code for certain things.
Yeah.
I think what I'm understanding you to say is, could a new owner who didn't go through the whole process, over years, come in and all of a sudden do something that wasn't entitled?
Reducing homes, adding homes, changing streets?
You can always reduce. You
Okay.
can always reduce. You can't go up, right?
Add. You
can't
cannot
go-
add, that's not an option.
Okay.
And Jeff, I don't mean to interrupt you,
Sure.
but this has a condition on it, condition number 27, which is something that I've never seen in 30 years, and I'm going to read you that condition.
Okay.
Prior to submitting each final map, the applicant shall participate in a staff-coordinated and staff-led stakeholder engagement process to review the proposed final subdivision designs and the measures proposed to address conditions of approval for a final map. This is not a new subdivision review process, but rather a participatory approach to verifying that the final map is in substantial conformance with the tentative map approval, including conditions of approval. And then it goes on. So this map is very specific that it needs to be in conformance with the tentative map that was approved. So any real deviation from that would be an amendment to that map that would have to come back before this board.
Okay, fair enough.
And then I would also add that any new issue, whether it was grading that exceeded thresholds that was not anticipated at that time, or, some, major drainage way that was all of a sudden,
Yeah.
anything that would normally be a code, required entitlement would also have to be addressed had it been missed, during the entitlement process at that time. So
Okay.
if something new came about, they would still have to address that, just as any other applicant would.
Great. If the commission doesn't mind, I had one more. There is, one of our correspondence into the commission was that one of the conditions had expired. It seemed like some sort of right-of-way turnabout that was expired in April.
I don't think it was a condition. I think it was.
Permit?
It was an access easement
Okay.
of some sort. I believe that was the subject of that email.
And said, permit, staff report referred to a building permit for a left turn pocket on Highway 40.
Oh, okay,
What
yeah.
would we do in that case if that is truly expired?
So that just basically, so when the initial final map was submitted in October of 2024, there were other mapping/permit applications that were submitted, one of which is the permit that is referenced there. So that was submitted. There may have been 1 or 2 rounds of review, but then ultimately they did not, finish the review process and the permit expired. So it was never issued.
Okay.
That's very common in the building permit world, where permits expire, we can reactivate them, at some future point in time. They can reapply. It doesn't undo anything, but in fact, what it does do is it shows that they were actually going through the process to try and perfect this tentative map, and keep it alive. But then, as we've talked about, Mr. Lucas passed away and everything else has happened.
All right, great, thank you. That's all I have.
Any other questions from the commission? If not, we will move into deliberations. Okay, deliberations.
This is Commissioner Velto. Oh, I'm sorry. Someone else wanted to go
Yeah,
first.
let's go with, nope, okay,
Perfect.
we'll go with Commissioner Velta first.
Yeah, so I was on the planning commission when this was denied. I voted against it. I think it was unanimously denied. I do think that given that there's a court order directed the city to allow them to develop, it kind of changes my analysis. Really, I've seen the planning commission when we evaluate these extensions in the past, really just to look at, is there any reason for giving an extension, and has the developer been acting in good faith to try to complete the project on the timeline? So my focus is solely looking at whether in the record there's evidence of that. And I think I'm satisfied on that question. I understand the concerns raised by Commissioner Williams about generally the project and that someone may be buying this in the future. I know we can't make decisions on extensions in an arbitrary and capricious manner. So, for me, I just keep going back to how have we evaluated these in the past? And in my mind, in my experience on this, it seems like they're very formulaic as long as there's a reason and there's been a good faith effort to comply with the law. So that's where I'm at with this. But happy to hear all of your comments.
Commissioner Del Villar.
Commissioner Del Villar, I agree, Commissioner Velto. I just wanted, and I appreciate everybody's input. Again, this is my first time sort of going through this particular process and development, and I feel comfortable I can make the findings, and I'm happy to make a motion when everybody's ready.
If there are no further deliberations, Commissioner Giacomin, I'll just say this is probably the one that feels the most legal as far as the items that we have reviewed since I've joined this body. And I appreciate your thoughts there, Commissioner Velto, with regard to how we should look at this one, given the legal nature of the item before us. So thank you for that. And anything else from the commission?
It's up.
It's up there.
Yep. I can see it. Commissioner Del Villar, I'd like to recommend the motion in the matter of case LDC 26-00026, based upon compliance with NRS 278.360 requirements for presentation of final map or a series of final maps, extensions of time. I move to approve a 2-year time extension on the Stan Lucas Mortensen Ranch tentative map, subject to the original conditions of approval.
Commissioner Gonfantini, I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. That concludes this item for tonight. We will now move on to item C2. This is a staff report for possible action, case number LDC 26-23, Quilici Ranch Clubhouse. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Quilici. Mr. Foster, please proceed.
Planning Commission, Jeff Foster, Associate Planner for the record. The second case I am bringing you tonight, LDC 26-23, the Quilici Ranch Clubhouse. The project is an undeveloped 5.71 acre site that is a portion of a larger 19.89 acre parcel within Quilici Ranch, located on the north side of Quilici Meadow Parkway. The site is undeveloped, if I didn't say that already. Non-residential development adjacent to residentially zoned property requires approval of a minor site plan review. The Mortensen-Garson Overlay District, or MGOD, requires that development on any site with a slope greater than 15% is subject to a major site plan review. The project proposes fills greater than 10 feet in height, which also requires approval of a major site plan review. And finally, the subject site is within the multifamily 14 zoning district, which requires a conditional use permit for a private country club use. As a result, the entire application was elevated to a CUP. As you can see, not only the site, but the entire surrounding area is currently undeveloped. The key issues that staff analyzed are compatibility with future surrounding uses, site design, as well as compliance with the MGOD hillside development standards, grading, and cuts and fills. The zoning district is multifamily 14, and the master plan land use is multifamily neighborhood. There are 7 goals and policies on the screen that are in support of the proposed request or that the proposed request is in compliance with. Turning to compatibility with surrounding land uses, surrounding land uses. The planned land uses around the site include open space, multifamily, and single family. The proposed use and location were identified as a part of the approved tentative map. The proposed use is complementary to the planned residential uses that surround it. The future multifamily village in the immediate area can be designed to include landscape and setback buffers as appropriate. The proposed hours of the clubhouse are from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. If development of the country club follows construction of those nearby residential uses, staff is including condition number 5 to restrict construction hours. Given all of the above, the proposed use is generally compatible with the planned land uses in the area. Turning to site design, the project has been designed to be compatible from both architectural and landscape perspectives with the overall theming of the Quilisi Ranch development. 2 separate buildings and supporting features and amenities are proposed to be developed in one phase. The first building is an approximately 6,000 square foot clubhouse with a social lounge, multi-purpose room, and homeowners association offices. And the second building is an approximately 6,400 square foot fitness barn with a multi-purpose gym, a venue for special events, and a fitness center. The site design also includes amenities such as lighted outdoor pickleball courts, tennis courts, a natural turf sports field for general use and informal competition, and artificial turf event lawns. The dedicated parking lot takes access from the highest point on Quilisi Meadow Parkway, situating that amenity above the roadway and future multifamily uses. The parking lot includes site lighting that is provided with downlighting fixtures that are oriented to avoid light spillover onto the future adjacent residential uses. Turning to the MGOD Hillside Development Standards, a special use permit for hillside development and cuts and fills that encompassed the proposed amenity site was approved as a part of the overall Santerra Quilisi Ranch entitlements. Since the project, care was taken when the original land plan was prepared to define a location for the clubhouse that had minimal relief. Since the project is in the Mortensen-Garson Overlay District, other submittals are required in place of the application requirements for hillside development in Reno Municipal Code. The applicant did prepare and submit all of the required submittals, and those are in the record. The proposed development area has an average slope in excess of 15% for slightly over 30% of the site. And it should be noted that all areas with slopes in excess of 30% are a result of the grading that was performed to construct Quilisi Meadow Parkway along the southern boundary. Continuing with grading and cuts and fills, the grading design provides a terraced site to help follow the natural topography and minimizes the amount of disturbance required. Care was taken to match the grades along the eastern edge, which will remain open space for the residential development. And this is the most visually sensitive edge and was the focus of the grading design. The deepest cuts are about 16 feet. The maximum fills are about 32 feet. The project has been designed to meet code general grading standards, including preservation of stable steep slopes, fill slopes, location of cut and fill slopes, noxious weed abatement and revegetation. And conditions 6 to 8, which are typically recommended to address enhanced grading techniques, including treatment of slopes, riprap, and noxious weeds when we have projects with grading and cuts and fills that exceed thresholds, as well as hillside development, are included in the recommended conditions of approval. Here are the conditional use permit recommended findings. Staff can make all recommended findings. And even though the major site plan review was part of the conditional use permit request, I did include the recommended findings for the major site plan review because they are different than a standard CUP. Again, staff can make all recommended findings. And here's the recommended motion. I am available for questions. The applicant's representative is also here, will not be making a presentation, but is available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. We will now move to disclosures and then any public comment. Commissioner Del Villar.
Commissioner Del Villar, I have read the materials and I am familiar with the site.
Commissioner Gonfiantini, read materials, familiar with the site.
Commissioner Jockman, read materials.
Commissioner Williams, read materials and familiar with the site.
Commissioner Valto, same disclosure.
Okay, that concludes disclosures. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment under this item?
I do not have any public comment registered in person, and I do not have any attendees online with their hand raised.
Do we have any requests to speak in chambers on this item? Hearing none, we will now move to questions from the commission for staff and the applicant representative.
Commissioner Del Villar, Jeff, I have a couple questions. Can you, because I saw this come up in a couple of the public comments, I think it was at the NAB. Can you explain the open space and what that means? Because it's not like public park, but it's open space. I just want to kind of understand how it's defined and what the usage or public opportunity might be to leverage it.
So can you pull my presentation back up? Thank you. Let me go back to the zoning and the master plan land use. So you can see the parcel in the middle and outlined in blue, right? And immediately to the east, you see the green color, right? So that's PGOS zoning, and then on the master plan, it's PGOS land use. So that area immediately to the east of the MF14 area, and keep in mind that the clubhouse site is just a small portion of that overall MF14 parcel, right? It's 5-point-something acres out of almost 20, so a quarter of it roughly. So, and towards the bottom of that area. So the rest of the area around that, to the north of that overall MF14 and to the east is PGOS. It's just open hillsides. It's not, necessarily planned amenities or formal trails or anything like that. It's just the portion of the area that was set aside probably as a result of slopes.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. That clarifies a lot. And then I understand the word barn was different from what I was thinking, so I understand that as well. Thank you.
Very nouveau way of calling a gym fitness barn.
That's the first.
Commissioner
Yep,
Williams?
if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, Commissioner Williams, for the record, I don't have any comments. I was going to say, being the proposed use and location identified as part of the approved tentative map, I can make all the findings. I'm happy to make a motion if the commission so wills.
Do we have any other questions from the commission before that is done, or any requests for deliberation? Hearing none, Commissioner Williams, please proceed.
Commissioner Williams, for the record, based on in the matter of LDC 26-00023, based upon the compliance with the applicable findings, I move to approve the conditional use permit subject to the conditions listed in the staff report, and I can make all the findings.
Commissioner Gonfiantini, I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. That concludes item C2. We will now move on to item D, business items. Do we have anything from staff under this item?
Nothing this evening.
Moving on, Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Liaison Report. I do not believe, we just had our meeting canceled this week, and there will be one in January. I am not yet aware of any of the agenda items under that. Commissioner Velto, are you any more aware of that meeting than I am?
I am not.
Okay, so the next meeting is in the middle of January. We will have an update with more detail at our next City Planning Commission meeting. Item F, future agenda items. Anything from staff under this?
Nothing this evening.
Any requests from commissioners for future agenda items?
No requests, but at some point it would be good to get an update on some of the requests we've made in the past.
We have been bringing, as you know, the last few meetings, some of those trainings, so we're working our way through those, and they'll be coming up as
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Hearing no other requests from the commission, we'll move to public comment. Madam Clerk, G1 Please proceed.
Chair, I do not have any public comment for this item.
Do we have any requests to speak in chambers under this item? Hearing none. Last item is adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Commissioner Del Villar, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Commissioner Williams, second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.